It was just days after Thanksgiving, years 2018. Devastating wildfires were ravaging the state of California. The Los Angeles Rams came into the game with a 9-1 record, looking to provide a nice distraction from the disaster on Monday night. With Jared Goff leading the way, backed up by a smorgasbord of weapons like Todd Gurley, Brandon Cooks, and Robert Woods, supported by a defense featuring the most dominant defender in football, Aaron Donald. The Chiefs also came into the game at 9-1 with Patrick Mahomes in his first season starting, hopping out to a blazing start, leading the MVP race, supported by perhaps the best offensive cast in the league, featuring prime Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and Kareem Hunt. The team was rather unbalanced, sporting a defense that was bottom of the league in several metrics. The Rams received the ball first, starting their drive off with a nice outside run by Gurley to pick up 5 yards. Next play, Goff looked for Woods on the out route past the sticks, and the throw was broken up by Scandrick, but the Rams would be rewarded with a first down off a pretty weak PI call in my opinion. A quick throw to Cooks on the spot route got them ahead of schedule, and on second down, Goff hit Cooks in stride on the slant, and the receiver galloped deep into Chiefs territory before eventually giving himself up and going down. Gurley caught it out of the backfield next, setting up 2nd and 3, but the line opened up a hole to get him just enough yardage for another chain mover, before Goff would try Woods this time on a slant, but Eric Murray delivered a big hit to jar the ball loose, incomplete. The safety was penalized for unnecessary roughness. I don't really know why. I thought it kind of just looked like a great play. And LA would move inside the 10, where Goff surveyed after the play fake and lofted one up to Robert Woods coming across the field in the back corner of the end zone for the first score of the game, but it would stay 6-0 as Zuerlein's kick flew left of the upright. The Chiefs decided to start off with a speed option pitch to Kareem Hunt, and the back looked to get free into the secondary for a big gain, but it'd get nullified by a block on the back, and on 2nd and 14, Mahomes' Kermit cadence drew the defense off sides, and a well-set-up wide receiver screen for Conley got the Chiefs near the first down marker. A false start backed them up again, setting up 3rd and 8, where Mahomes stepped through pressure and dialed up a rocket for Kelce down the sideline, but the throw was a hair too high, and the mistake-laden drive would end with a punt back to the Rams. Another penalty early into the drive for hands to the face by Steven Nelson moved the chains for the Rams, where Goff stuck a dart on Josh Reynolds on 2nd and 10 to get them past the 40. A quick throw on the out to the tight end, Higbee, picked them up another first down, before Goff had all day to survey the field next play, waiting for Woods to get wide open between 3 Chiefs defenders before slinging it to him to get the Rams into the red zone. 2 unsuccessful plays left them on 3rd and 11, where D Ford jumped off sides. Golly, I sure hope that doesn't happen again in a more important game later down the line. And on the following 3rd and 6, Goff found Cooks on the shallow crosser to get past the sticks inside the 10-yard line, where another jump off sides moved them even closer, and on 2nd and goal, Josh Reynolds went up and plucked the ball from Goff in the back of the end zone for another score, putting up the Rams 13-0 with Zuerlein's extra point successful this time. After a short gain by Kelce left them on 2nd and 7, Hunt rushed through a wide-open gap, slipping a tackle and getting free into the secondary, and stiff-arming John Johnson, going down in LA's territory with the offense waking up. Mahomes faked it to him next, surveying and finding Tyreek Hill in the soft spot between the corner and the safety, and the quick receiver picked up a few more before sliding down at the 25. The very next play, Mahomes lofted one up for Tyreek Hill again, who snuck behind the defense, falling backwards into the end zone for the score, and in lightning quick fashion, the Chiefs were back in the game, 7-13, following Butker's extra point. The Rams started their next drive with a short run by Malcolm Brown, followed by another dart struck right between Reynolds' numbers for another conversion. Goff decided to let one rip next, launching a rainbow for Cooks, who couldn't haul it in, and Steven Nelson was correctly called for pass interference this time, moving the Rams to KC's 30 in a flash. Higbee somehow caught a quick throw through heavy contact, and Malcolm Brown muscled his way through some big hits to move the chains before Goff would roll out on the boot and barely flick it over Chris Jones for another completion for Reynolds for another first down inside the 10 before getting dragged down from behind. Gurley got stuffed next. Reynolds hauled in Goff's throw on 2nd, but his toe was out of bounds, and on 3rd and goal, the Chiefs' handsy defense would strike again as flags flew in Eric Murray's direction, but a savvy challenge flag thrown by Andy Reid claiming the ball was tipped, therefore neutralizing the pass interference call, bailed the defense out of a tough spot, and the Rams would kick it through the uprights instead of getting an almost guaranteed touchdown at the goal line. A few touches by Kareem Hunt set the Chiefs up at 3rd and 2, where Mahomes dropped back and fired one to Tyreek Hill for another big chunk to get them into Rams territory in the blink of an eye, before finding the receiver again on the opposite sideline a few plays later for another chain mover to get them inside the 25. Scrappy Hunt carry up the gut, set up 2nd and 4, where Mahomes stood in and fired a rocket over the middle to Conley, who was tripped up just short of the goal line, but a holding call would kill the chunk play and back them up to 2nd and 14, where Mahomes found Kareem Hunt falling backwards towards the sideline for another instant conversion, and Mahomes scrambled out of bounds next for no gain, but a hold on the defense this time moved them inside the 10, where Hunt got stuffed on first down. On 2nd, Mahomes took it himself on the option, sliding down at the goal line to avoid getting clobbered, and on 3rd and goal from the goal line, Hunt got it on the option this time, but was walloped going out of bounds and losing yardage, and KC would have to settle for 3 as Butker banged it through, making it 10-16 with plenty of time left in the half. Gurley bulled his way forward for 5 on first down, but Goff was buried in the backfield next by a free rushing Xavier Williams, leaving them on 3rd and 13 where Goff avoided the initial rush, but couldn't escape and was taken down, losing the ball right before his knee was down, and Kansas City would recover with a chance to take the lead just outside LA's 20, and that they did. Mahomes faked to Hunt, faked the reverse to Robinson, and dropped it down to Hunt on a well-set screen, and the back burst through traffic into the end zone with a full head of steam, and Butker's kick would give them a point lead as the light show continued. A penalty on LA's special teams pinned them at their own 10, where Gurley picked up a short gain on first. Goff stepped into a heater, finding Cooks on the post for a huge chunk to get them up to their 35. The QB overthrew Cooks on the sideline next, and on 2nd and 10, Gurley only managed to pick up a few, and on 3rd and long, Goff had to throw it before he was ready, looking for Woods, but it was broken up, and they'd have to punt it away for the first time. A penalty on KC's special teams left them pinned at their own 3, where Hunt got them some breathing room on first down. Hill caught the quick throw next, showcasing some agility, getting them a yard shy of the marker before going out, and on 3rd and 1, Hill hauled in the bubble screen and got around the edge, slipping a tackle and going out well past the marker for a first. Following a short gain by Hunt, Mahomes, feeling the pressure, stepped to his right, but wasn't quick enough to escape the bulldozing Aaron Donald, who slung him down, losing the ball, and Samson Ebukam scooped it up, waltzing his way into the end zone untouched, and the Rams would suddenly wrest away the lead again, 17-23 inside the 2-minute warning. Starting past their own 30, the Chiefs set up a fake screen to Hill and set up a real one for Kelsey, who grabbed it, surging forward for 5 yards, going down in bounds, before Mahomes would find him again, this time on a shallow spot route, as he turned up to the 45 for a first down and then some with the clock ticking. He tossed it out to Conley next, who was quickly pulled down in bounds again, before he'd hit Kelsey over the shoulder. The big tight end galloped all the way down to LA's 15 before getting cut down. The Chiefs would take their one final timeout. Mahomes stepped up through the rush next, finding the sideline and going out with less than 30 seconds on the clock, before rolling right next, firing to Kelsey in the corner of the end zone, but the tight end wasn't able to secure it before going out of bounds, and on 3rd and 4, Mahomes stepped up and flung it with a signature freaky arm angle, and Conley plucked the ball out of the air, scoring and tying the game up, but they were unable to take the lead as Butker's kick floated just outside the left upright, and the Rams would kneel on it, taking the game to halftime. The Chiefs received it after the half, and Mahomes hit Conley on an out route, broke a tackle, and got rolling down the sideline for a big gain to get into LA territory, before the throwaway by the QB on 2nd down drew attention to a defensive hold to keep the drive going with a fresh set of downs, and on the next play, Mahomes stepped up and scrambled to the sideline, and with another penalty on Los Angeles' defense, they get another first down. Disaster would strike on the next play, however, as Mahomes, unaware of his blind side, flanked by who else but Aaron Donald, who swiped his arms down, causing him to lose the ball, and a big scuffle to recover the ball ensued as it tumbled farther and farther past midfield, and John Franklin Myers ultimately recovered it for the Rams. On the following 2nd and 10, Goff let one fly for Cooks down the sideline and it connected, but it was only brief as Nelson was able to punch it out, causing an incompletion. Goff stood in next, delivering to Reynolds, coming across the field, but the receiver was tackled a yard short, and on the 4th down try, they'd run a play action, and Goff tossed it out to Higbee, who miraculously caught it, fumbled the ball, and fell on it past the sticks for a first down. And they went right back to him again on a screen, where the tight end surged forward behind some great blocks, and the big boy fell down inside the 10-yard line, where Goff threw it away on first down, dumped it down to Hodge, well short of the goal line on 2nd, and on 3rd down, recognizing all the backs turned in man coverage, Goff pulled it down and took it himself, once again taking the lead for the Rams, 23-30 early in the 3rd. On 2nd and 5, Mahomes tossed it out to Conley on the quick hitch for a first down near midfield. Hunt took an outside zone run around the edge, picking up 9 on first down, before punching it right up the gut for a conversion and some more tough yards after. And on the following 2nd down, Mahomes found Kelsey behind the linebackers, and he'd get rolling all the way inside the 10, pushing forward through contact, ultimately going down at the 5. Mahomes rolled out on a boot next, not seeing anyone open, however, and taking a shot as he went out of bounds, before easily finding Kelsey underneath on the mesh play, and the tight end strode in untouched, matching the score to tie it up 30-30. With all the defenders over pursuing Goff on the screen, Gurley got loose on first down, galloping all the way past the 50 before getting caught from behind, before the defense would forget about him again on the next play. The back caught the dump down, advancing for another first. Goff airmailed one next, and Gurley was caught for a loss by Chris Jones, leaving them on 3rd and long, where Cooks took the screen, and Chiefs had nobody home, selling the advantageous down and distance, giving the Rams another conversion near the red zone, where they'd stall out off a sack by Jones. They'd try to catch KC sleeping on 3rd and long with inside handoff, but Gurley'd go down well short of the line. They'd have to settle with a Zerline kick to go up 30-33. Luckily for them, Mahomes caught the snap quickly and threw it on the RPO, seeing a wide open Harris, but Ebukam miraculously tipped it to himself at the line, and neither Mahomes Mahomes nor Hill were able to stop the freight train going downhill, and he'd muscle through them into the end zone for another defensive score to put the Rams up by 10 in the blink of an eye. Mahomes' next throw was tipped incomplete, but the Rams decided to treat it as a live ball, taking it for a score, although after the review it'd be reversed. And on third, Mahomes would heave for Hill down the field, but it was broken up, and they'd go 3 and out down 10, missing an opportunity to cut back into the Rams' lead. Gurley slashed straight down the middle on first down, rolling all the way into the safety before going down after the 24-yard run, and on the next play, they'd go right back to him, setting up a screen and letting him stiff-arm his way around the edge for another good gain, but it was assisted by a hold, backing them up to 1st and 20, where Chris Jones got free and pressured Goff into getting smoked from the backside by the 2 blitzing linebackers, leaving them on 2nd and 30, where Goff ripped one over the middle, but it was off the mark and Cooks couldn't make the diving catch. And on 3rd and forever, they just handed it to Gurley, and the back was swallowed up without getting much. They'd punt it to Hill, who I don't know if he just lost where he was, but foolishly tried returning it from the 1-yard line, pinning the team deep inside their own 10. A quick toss to Kelsey on the stick route, followed by a dart to Hill on the slot dig, picked them up a 1st down before Mahomes would fake to Hunt next and just air it out to Tyreek Hill, blazing downfield all alone, and he'd throw up the deuces while jogging in for the touchdown. And just like that, KC was back in it again in a matter of seconds, 37-40 with plenty of game left. A sky-mailed ball by Goff left the Rams on 3rd and long to start the drive, where Goff retreated, cocked back, but had the ball ripped away by Allen Bailey, who spun free and waltzed into the end zone, and suddenly KC was back on top without even 2 minutes elapsing from the game clock, 44-40. Gurley took it first on the next drive, dicing through the middle and falling forward for 5 before the play action worked again, and Goff found Reynolds again, turning upfield and plowing into Nelson before going down on the Chiefs' side of the field. Another boot drew the linebackers up, and Goff hitched and launched it to a wide-open Woods, who had to adjust but managed to catch the underthrown ball, and the Rams were knocking on the door again. The following 2nd and goal, Goff tossed it to Woods, and the refs missed a pretty flagrant PI call on Scandrick, but on the very next play, Goff gunned it to Everett, who secured it in the end zone, and once again, the Rams would be on top, 44-47. Chiefs started with a short gain for Kelsey on the screen, or Mahomes would hit Hill short, rolling towards the sideline, and on 3rd down, he put the ball in Kelsey's hands, but he uncharacteristically dropped it past the sticks, and they'd go 3 and out again in a crucial moment. Cooks grabbed the jet sweep on 1st down, but took a pop for no gain to kick things off for the Rams. On 2nd, Goff had to throw it away before he wanted to, and on 3rd and long, Cooks grabbed the wide receiver screen again, and barely wasn't able to clear the line to gain, pulled down from behind, and for the first time, the Rams would go 3 and out, giving the Chiefs another chance to get back in it. Hunt fought forward for 4 yards up the gut on 1st down, but on 2nd, Mahomes felt the pocket collapsing and just took a sack protecting the ball, setting up 3rd and 9, where the QB took it himself, diving down 2 yards short of the line to gain, and Andy Reid decided he had a huge sack, putting it in Mahomes' hands on 4th and 2, and he found Kelsey wide open under the zone defense on the spot route, turning upfield and getting spun down in LA territory for the clutch conversion. Mahomes thought he had a lane next, but was ankle tackled trying to squirt through the line on 1st down, and on 2nd, he dumped it off to Robinson in the flat, and the receiver strode forward for another 1st down. Mahomes rolled right next, putting it in Harris's hands, and the tight end bobbled it, but caught it, going down after the short gain, and with a roughness penalty against Troy Hill granting KC a 1st down at the 10, Conley ran free on the shallow crosser, and Mahomes hit him in stride as he easily strode in for another score to wrest the lead again with a little under 3 minutes to go in the game, 51-47. D Ford dropped the scrambling Goff on 1st down. The QB stood in and almost threw a pick to Scandrick on 2nd, but it was dropped, and on 3rd and long, Goff stayed composed, delivering to Cooks on the out past the sticks. The receiver got loose before stepping out after some more yardage. A quick dump down to Everett picked up a few, and on 2nd, Goff tossed up a jump ball to Higbee on the out route. The tight end plucked it for another 1st down, and on the very next play, he went back to Everett, tossing him up a rainbow down the sideline, and the tight end tiptoed in for another lead change inside the 2-minute warning, putting up the Rams 51-54. With plenty of time and 3 timeouts, Mahomes started off missing Kareem Hunt on the check down. He fired over the middle for D-Rob on what probably should have drawn a pass interference but didn't, and on 3rd and 10, Mahomes stepped into a high ball for Hill on the corner. The small receiver plucked it out of the air for a clutch conversion to get them under the Rams' side, where Mahomes play faked, surveyed, and then loaded up, but he was hit as he threw by Ebukam, and the resulting duck flew right to the former Chief, Marcus Peters, to keep the lead, but the game wasn't over yet. Starting with a false start, the Rams were backed up on 1st down, where Goff actually rolled out, throwing to Woods, who slid down inbounds, but they tried throwing it again, and Goff's throw was batted down, preserving one of KC's precious timeouts. And on 3rd and 11, the wide receiver screen for Cooks got blown up, and KC'd be getting the ball back with plenty of time. Once again, however, Tyreek Hill retreated into the end zone to receive the punt, burning up precious time as he was only able to return it to the 15-yard line, and Mahomes and the offense would start there with only 1 timeout timeout and 50 seconds left. Mahomes tried Kelsey up the seam on first down, but the tight end bobbled and dropped the routine catch. On second, they went right back to him on the stick route, but he went down in bounds with the clock ticking, and on 3rd and 2, Mahomes found Conley past the sticks. They'd have to use their final timeout as he was tackled in the middle of the field. Next play, Mahomes narrowly avoided Ebukam and rolled right before throwing up a prayer that was well short of Hill and intercepted by LaMarcus Joyner, and with one last kneel down by Goff, the Monday Night Lights show would come to an end with LA on top, with both teams having successful seasons following this game, but falling short of the ultimate goal, both losing in the playoffs to Brady and the Patriots. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and click the thumbs up on the video if you liked it. Also, I'd really appreciate if you guys could join my Patreon for early access to new videos, and I have full-length game reactions that I can't post here on YouTube. Anyways guys, I have a series where I go back in time and review every past Super Bowl, and I have weekly power rankings of every NFL team, so go check it out. Peace.